Oh, good afternoon,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Sock Marionette doing business as Bargain Counter Argument, and I am a middle-aged lady in a tiara hosting a live stream. And with me today is Alicia, aka Birdie and the Books.
Hi.
Do you have any more detailed intro, or is that just that's what you need to say?
Birdie comes from a family nickname. So as someone who reads a lot of books, I went with Birdie and the Books. I started by co-hosting a YouTube-based book club that isn't in existence anymore. But because my friend had a baby, so she doesn't post on the internet as much anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, I started my own channel, and I do a lot of author interviews, a lot of regular quote unquote booktube content, but I'm kind of restructuring right now. So yeah, I do long form because I like long form.
Well, we have some people who want to say hi, or who've already said hi, and I want to acknowledge that. Jill is here. Hi, Jill. How's it going?
Hi.
Lisa is here. The Lost Coffee Mug. Hi.
I love that name as a coffee lover. Thank you.
Well, she was co-hosting. She was on camera for one of my live streams. She's done that a couple of times as her schedule permits. And I asked her about the coffee mug, and she actually held it up.
That's awesome.
But she's not changing her handle, I guess. Maybe she is. I don't know.
If you want any recommendations, a good friend of mine, Kelly, she does her channel's called Coffee Cups and Books.
Coffee what?
Coffee Cups and Books.
Coffee Cups and Books. Well, there's also I don't know if he's posting lately, but there's Josh who does Coffee, Cats, and King, because he does a lot of horror. Yes. It's King as in Stephen King. His wife is also a booktuber. She's I don't remember Paige's Open Book, because her name is Paige.
I'll have to look it up because I always like finding new people to me.
She mostly does romance, and she does contemporary romance and dark romance. Every once in a while, they'll do the a husband-wife swap books, and those are fun.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And Jill says, I'm going to concentrate on Origin by Dan Brown. I have 77 pages left. Okay.
I have to read that one.
And Emily is here. She's lost in the library. Hey, Emily, just for you.
I love it.
This is Laurentius.
That's awesome.
And yeah. And Mari is here. She says, hello. Hello, Mari.
Hi.
And Wyoming is here. Barkety, Barkety. She and I speak Barkety to each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Barkety, Barkety. I don't have any. I still have these stuffed animals. For those of you who attended my last minute stream on Monday, the stuffed animals ended up on the back of the couch, and they haven't moved since. Well, they probably moved. Huh?
Is that a lamb chop in the back?
Well, she's not lamb chop specifically, but she does have that look. They haven't moved since. I mean, I'm sure when I'm not in the room, they're partying hardy, a la Toy Story, but I haven't seen them move. I was telling Wyoming, I was telling Alicia backstage, I was telling her that you mentioned that you loved Middlemarch, which she and I recently buddy read, and we're trying to figure out how we want to talk about it because we both really liked it. So many thoughts, and it's like one of those things where I was like, do we want to talk about this on YouTube or in a Zoom or something like that?
It's going to be a gush session, so we're going to go completely out of order.
Yes, I think it'll be fun. But I was like, I'm sorry, but my thoughts cannot be contained in the format of a DM on Discord. Lisa's like, no change in name. She's not changing.
That's awesome.
And Lisa's like, and now I'll have more people to follow. Stacy's here. Stacy. I don't know why Stacy gets a chant and the others don't. Emily. She says they're behaving now because they're on camera. Oh, Anita gets a chant too. Anita. Yes, they're behaving. Although I have gotten some pictures of them misbehaving. Hey everyone, says Anita. I'm doing lots of things today and hopefully get to my books, but right now I'm doing some organizing and some research. Ooh, I hope it's fun research.
I'm a research nerd.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I think it's fun research into like going on an exciting vacation as opposed to sad research because your friend flipped her lid at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and led the police on a 3-county chase. And I wish I were making this up.
You've got
that was a rabbit hole. I went through this rabbit hole. Like, I haven't talked to her in a long time. Seeing, like, and apparently she'd been filing all these, like, ridiculous lawsuits. This was like a mental health crisis, which isn't funny, except that in one of her lawsuits, she was, like, alleging that I had, when she and I went to the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands, that I had somehow compelled her to, I'm going to wait till you're not drinking, moon an Iranian dignitary.
How did you get from one to the other? But okay.
I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I have chronic mental illness. I have PTSD and depression.
Okay.
But so I'm sympathetic to the plight of the mentally ill, what with being one and all. But that doesn't mean that I understand how these leaps of logic happen, because her disorder is not my disorder.
It all depends on the understanding level too.
Yeah, anyway, I was like, well, yeah, that does actually sound like the kind of thing I would do, but she and I were never in the Netherlands together, so.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, but I went on quite the research rabbit hole, figuring out what she'd been up to and also what her what the legal situation was that she found herself in.
I'm sure that was very interesting.
It was very interesting. It's on my mind because I fell asleep at 3 o'clock this morning and I woke up at noon, and it would have been a great stretch of sleep, nice 9 hours of sleep, except that last dream cycle involved her in a very sad way. So it's like, that's very much on my mind today. So Maury says, you mean no one other than me can see them making funny faces behind socks? Strange. Well, the thing is, no one other than you, not quite, because the other couch, I have an identical couch on the opposite wall, which is loaded down with stuffed animals. So if they're doing like the bunny ears and making faces and so on, those guys can see them as well. Anita says, well, no, there's no chases involved. It's just basically me getting ready to try to get my real ID. Oh, you got to figure out. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's not as fun as it could be, but not as bad as it could be. Wyoming says PBS did a fantastic version of Middlemarch in a miniseries back from the 90s. Yeah,
I think we were watching it.
Yeah, I need to see if I can get my hands on a copy of it or find out where it's streaming and watch it.
It's streaming on Amazon if you have an Amazon account.
Oh, Amazon Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, yes, I do actually. I'm glad I'm not alone, says Marie. Yes. There's some stuffed animals on the other side of the room who can see what's going on. Okay. So I think it looks like we're caught up on comments. Awesome. So this is where we do 10 minutes of yuck. So we've got a 10-minute sprint in which people can do things that you don't want to do for more than 10 minutes. Speed run cleaning the bathroom, get your laundry started, which is what I will be doing. Make phone calls. I'm showing my age when I say balance the checkbook, that kind of thing.
Honestly, nowadays, I talked about filling out a check the other day, and this young person looked at me like I was insane. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I've now hit old lady status. I have to accept it.
So 10 minutes of yuck. So we will be going until 19 minutes past the hour. I feel like I should make it 11 minutes of yuck and just, well, by the time I get it set up. So I'm going to go to 20 minutes past the hour because I got to figure out banners, which means accidentally starting to record myself. And the other day, the banner kept turning off and I couldn't figure out why. And it turned out I'd accidentally set a timer, that there's a timer that'll cut you off after 20 seconds. And I didn't know
that was possible.
Yeah. Well, now I know, and I should, timer is off. Well, it said timer is off, but it wasn't. Oops, I just started it again. It's right next to the show button when you go to show.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And I kept hitting the wrong one because I'm not wearing my reading glasses. Okay, it should say sprinting until 20. Yep. Okay, so I'll see you in 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Sounds great.
And we're back. So we had 10 minutes of yuck. And Anita says, I think my stuff will take more than 10 minutes. Well, that blows. How's everybody else doing? I got my laundry put in. I also sorted my upstairs trash. It's all dry garbage, but some of it can be recycled, some of it can't. So I had to make sure that the stuff that can be recycled ended up in the correct place. I haven't taken it out to the bins yet, but I did get that taken care of. And I got these guys to a different location. And Lisa says, whoops, too bad I can't just do 10 minutes of work and be done. Well, I have way more than 10 minutes of yuck to do myself. I did some earlier and I'll probably do some later. So it's not like, but I can do it when I want. I'm not restricted to a specific schedule. And Alicia's back.
Hi.
Did you have a good 10 minutes of yuck?
Yeah, I unloaded and reloaded my dishwasher.
Nice. Nice. And Maurice says, I spent more time trying to find a book I read ages ago that keeps popping into my mind in vague images. And Emily folded some blankets. So
I'm not good at that, folding blankets. I wish I was.
So do you have plans for the longer sprints, which are usually 30 to 45? I've kind of gravitated more toward doing 45.
I like
because
45.
It kind of gives you, yeah, it's a nice, okay, we'll do that today. Blake is here. She says, hi, everyone. I have you playing while I'm working and keeping me company. Hey, Blake. Nice to see you virtually. Jill is having lunch and reading, and it's Dan Brown. I can't remember the name of the book now.
Origins. I have to read that one and the newest one that came out last year.
Yeah, because I was like, I almost said Inferno, and I'm like, that was a while ago. That was quite some time ago. Okay, so do you have reading plans for the longer sprints, or?
I have to finish a book for a book club that I'm in called The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow.
Oh, Alex Harrow. She wrote. What did she write? I know I read something by her.
She wrote, I forget what the title. It's her one big book came from like witches in two different time periods.
Oh, maybe I was confused. Maybe it was somebody else I was thinking of. So how are you liking it or not?
It's okay. I'm not disliking it, but I think I've read a book, and it's a me thing. I recently read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke.
Yeah.
And it's reminding me very much of that. And I feel like that's like a my bad because I didn't know. and then I'm reading this and it sounds very familiar and I'm like,
Mom Marionette, my mother and I both read Piranesi quite some time ago. We both liked it.
I love Susanna Clarke. I wish she would come out with more.
I haven't read too much. I read Piranesi. I don't know. I must have read something else by her. I have not read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
It's one of my favorite books of all time.
It's a chonker, but so was Middlemarch, and I read that.
Well, you have to be a history nerd, because I know a lot of people that like bounce off of it have a hard time with like the war in the book is based a lot on the French Revolution. So like a lot of people, understandably so, bounce off of that because it is very like heavy military stuff. But it's
I actually have a couple of degrees in history, but my specialty was like short 20th century. So
okay, that's awesome. I wanted to go into history, but my dad wouldn't let me.
Okay. Maurice says, I am still working my way through the current Palaces of the Rogue, or is it Palaces of the Rogue or Palace of the Rogues? Were those written by different people or were they all by the same person? I'm a little confused by that one. I could look it up myself, but I could just make you type it instead.
I've never heard of that one.
Palace of the Rogues is a series, and I don't know if it's all by the same person or if it was by different writers. It's an historical romance series, and I think it's about like a lavish safe house for rogues who are like working through some stuff. Like I think one of them had what we would now call PTSD from the Napoleonic Wars or something.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure. I should look it up and satisfy my curiosity.
I love like historical romances and stuff like that.
Well, we're a lot of us who are in this particular live stream are in the Tea and Biscuits book club, which is Tara of Tara Talks Books and BEA of Mama Needs to Read Romance.
I watched B from Mama Needs to Read Romance a lot.
Yeah, and like every month we pick a different historical romance and we read it and talk about it.
Historical romance was my start in romance.
Last month it was As the Devil Dares by Anna Harrington. That was a pretty lively discussion. I don't think anybody really liked it all that much. And then this month, well, I mean for April. By last month, I mean for April, because we've already talked about it. Next month, I think I can't remember the name of the writer, Maya Banks, maybe? I'm not sure. And it's called, I believe, Never Seduce Us, Scott.
Yes, I've read that one. Oh, long time ago.
I need to get my hands on the copy. And so Jill said she has 70 pages left. So that means during the 10 minutes, if you actually got 7 pages knocked out, plus some lunch. Nice. And Maurice says, my husband was looking up the Harrow book last night. It had a 10+ week wait at the library.
Yeah, her books take the longest time to get if you're getting them through the library. For some reason, her books are, even if you get it on like release day, it's weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Okay, well, sometimes some of my library lets me put a hold on a book before it's actually been released.
I wish mine did.
Of course, everybody else can too. It's not just me personally. So, it's still competing. And sometimes I will ask for the book in large print because there's usually not as much demand for that. Because I like large print. Not everybody can read that. So,
yeah. As I'm getting older, my eyes, I've been appreciating large print as I keep on getting a little bit older.
Yeah, there are times when it's just like, I think my current read, which I left in the other room, is the new Agent Pendergast novel.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's the beginning. It's like his first case with the FBI.
Okay.
And I have it in large print. Well, I walked into the library and I saw these large print books. One was The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, which everybody is raving about.
That's on my list. I have to read it.
It was okay. It was kind of predictable. I mean, I didn't hate it or anything, but I don't get the hype. And then that one and then the newest Lisa Jewell book were all in large print. And it's like, it's nice to give my eyes a break sometimes. And if that's how I can read it, I can read it.
Yeah, I have anyway, so large print.
Yeah.
For buying them.
And I picked them up at library sales and so on. And then Alicia, not Alicia, you're Alicia. Maurice says he enjoyed the witches one. I had to DNF that one. It triggered rage tendencies. Oh no.
Yeah,
did you get the old sock toss? Did it go sailing across the room? That would probably do some damage to your drywall if it went sailing across the room. Maurice says The Palace of Rogues, all by Julianne Long. And yes, Palace, not Palaces. Okay, yeah. Maurice says Tara and Crystal are doing a read along of it. The Palace of Rogues, right? Yeah, I know people have been talking about it, and I was a little confused. And my mind's been going in a million different directions. So
I feel that in my soul.
Okay. Now, last week we got cut off abruptly because I was having all kinds of tech shenanigans. It's just mostly just getting used to a new computer and things are in slightly different places than I'm used to. And I was getting a little flustered. And then I had to solve one too many problems on the fly. And I got to a problem I couldn't solve, and so I just cut everything short. I understand people continued talking in the comments. They're like, is she coming back or not?
Yeah, I was trying to see if you were trying to come back because it didn't cut off your stream just yet when you.
Yeah, it was like black screen, and everybody's like, what's going on? And I'm like,
and meanwhile, I'm like, we're doing that. I'm like, do I just leave?
Yes. I was like, I don't know. At that point, I think I was curled up under the covers crying or something. I was pretty upset. So I'm better now. And I had that I had that last minute live stream on Monday, so I didn't have time to get stressed about anything, and it went fine. So I feel more confident today. And I'm not going to try to do, I don't think I should need to do too many things at once.
I also think it's StreamYard, because StreamYard's been acting up a lot lately.
Well, I think this was definitely a problem exists between keyboard and couch situation. But yeah, we'll blame StreamYard. Sure, you bet. Why not? So there were a couple of things I wanted to get into. I hope Anita's still in a position to be listening, because we were talking about, this was the week before last, what I was going to name this new stuffed toy.
Elephants are my favorite.
Well, I actually have these two elephants are like only a little bit younger than I am. And they are Paula and Johnny.
I love it.
And they're Egyptian, I think, because they're like Egyptian hieroglyphs. They only have features on one side.
Oh, that's cool.
Those were baby gifts for when I was baby.
Aww.
As opposed to baby gifts for me as a middle-aged woman in a tiara. And so I was talking about, people were like, what are you going to name her? And I think, here we have, Anita says, how about Penelope? That's a great name. I already have Lucy. I already have a lamb named Lucy, but she went into the other room just now.
Okay.
Penelope, I do have a Penny. It's not short for Penelope. It's just Penny, and she's a penguin.
That's awesome.
But Anita, I think 2 weeks ago, suggested Elephantine, or maybe it was Elephantina. I went with Elephantina, but she's called Elle for short. Not Ellie, because that lamb you said looked like Lamb Chop. Her name is Ellie. Her name is Ellie. So a lot of times it's hard to come up with a name they don't already have. Yeah. But yes, thank you, Anita, because I think that was partly your suggestion. And Wyoming says, I absolutely adore elephants. I have pictures and statues of them throughout my house.
I have like wood carvings of them on my desk.
Nice. Well, anyway, she's got little...
Oh, that's awesome.
I found her by accident at Aldi the other day. So I wanted to, that was that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was I had started a book 2 weeks ago, and I'd finished it before last week's live stream, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. And that was the Candlelight Ecstasy Romance, Stages of Love by Beverly Summers.
I love the name.
Let's see. Anita says, I remember that name. I'm glad you liked it. Yes, it stuck. I'm glad I assigned it to the right person. Now, let me remind you of what this book was about. This is from 1981. November of 1981. So that was my 11th birthday. Nice. The elephants are adorable, says Jill. Yeah, I don't remember who made these. They're named Paula and Johnny for a couple that were friends of my parents at the time, but I don't know that they were gifts from Paula and Johnny. They might have been manufactured, or they might have been handmade. I'm not sure. So this is what...
Go ahead.
Okay. This is what this book was about. His cool gray eyes and volatile temper should have been warning enough to Lee Masterson, award-winning playwright. She was on her way to the top, and her first opportunity had come from Paul Devon, who forgot about her talent the moment he saw her face.
I love the descriptions of the older...
I love to goof on them, so you'll see that in a minute or two. Even as she shrank from his gaze, she yearned for his caress. Even as she rebelled at his arrogance, Lee accepted Paul's offer to work and live together until passion and jealousy drove them apart. Still, he was too close for comfort, and she was too near to distraction, only a whisper away from love. So far, this is the favorite of these that I've read, actually. This is the one that has kind of like the least problematic gender and sexual politics.
A lot of the older ones have some really big problems with them now, like looking at it in today's one.
A lot of times we joke about how they were dark romances that didn't know they were dark romances yet.
The amount of like falling in love with each other's cousin is weird. Than in a lot of these older Harlequins.
They are a bunch of cousin marrying loofah brains. It's true.
I'm like, no, that wasn't okay back then. That's not okay now.
Or step sibs. Like, not a fan of step sibs. Like I can make an exception for step siblings if they meet as adults.
Right, if they're not raised together as children, that's fine.
or if they were step siblings because one lived with like they didn't grow up in separate households.
Right.
They grew up in separate households or something.
I agree with you. But if you've known each other since you were 4 and you lived in the same house, absolutely not. No.
I mean, it's not just gross. It's like kind of like contraindicated because there is something called the Westermark effect, which is kind of not always obviously, but tends to prevent siblings from falling in love with one another.
Oh, I didn't know there was a term for that.
I don't know how controversial it is, but it's called the Westermark effect, and it's just showing that like people who grow up together in living in the same house like that tend not to get involved. Yeah. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, and that's why we frown upon it. But yeah, it's like something about like it seems to go in because it's just everybody's way of protecting themselves from a more complicated family dynamic.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it in a long time. Maybe it's been debunked or something. Okay, back to Stages of Love. Oh, there was a weird bit though where they go out to dinner. She's just met him. He thought she was a dude because she's got Lee spelled Lee, which could go either way. Yeah. And because it wasn't, he just assumed she was a dude because it was a good play. It was also the subject matter of the play. It just struck him as kind of more the kind of thing a dude would write.
Like a male would write it.
Well, he just he made assumptions.
Yeah.
And I mean, at first everybody thinks she's like pulling a goof on them or something. She's like, no, I wrote this play. What is your problem, dudes? Well, he takes her out to dinner and he insists on ordering her something she says she doesn't want. And he's like, you must try this. And it's like, oh gosh, not this. But that was really the only thing he did that was really awful. And the arrogance is he's directing her play. She's never had a play produced professionally.
Okay.
So she doesn't know the protocols. So during the first cold table read, she starts giving the actors directions. And so he pulls her aside and says, you're not supposed to do that. And of course she bristles because, that's kind of, you don't like to be corrected. I mean, he does pull her aside to tell her that. And then she realizes, oh, wait a minute, he knows what he's doing. And this is a new situation for me. So she apologizes. And then they butt heads creatively, but in a way that is helpful to the production and to each other. It's not like they're getting into, well, you're wrong, non-productive fights. It's like she's like, I think that this the scene should be done this way. And he's like, well, I think it should be done this way. And then they actually like talk it out.
Yeah. If it ends with like a positive thing, that kind of arguing is fine.
Yeah, they're butting heads creatively because they're both on the same side of wanting this to be a good production. Right. So it's actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And apparently Beverly Summers herself writes plays or at least that. So anyway, I liked it. It's one of those where I want to keep it because I liked it, but I also kind of want to send it to a friend who's leery of trying these older category romances because of the problematic gender relations. And I'd send it to him with a note saying, just like, don't worry, the veal scallopini scene is not indicative of the book of a whole. So I actually ended up enjoying that a lot. And today I pulled 5 and we do auditions here.
I love it.
So I have a stack of 5 Candlelight Ecstasy romances. I could grab a 6 because I usually do them in even numbers. So what I think we'll do, what I have been doing is I will show the covers, goof on them a bit, read the summaries, goof on those a bit, and then like read the
summaries are written for that.
Yeah, exactly. Even at the time. Yeah. This is not an artifact of hindsight. And then I will read, like during the sprints, I'll read the first chapter of each book.
Okay, and give it a taste test?
Yes. And sometimes they enrage me so much that they go sailing across the room.
I've done that. You're good.
The old sock toss. So
there were a couple times in Middlemarch I wanted to throw the book about certain people being really stupid.
Well, it wasn't the book that irritated me though. It was the characters.
It was the characters.
Whereas this is like when I toss a book, it's because the book itself is the problem.
That's fair.
And it's like it's not like the book like Middlemarch. It's like you get the feeling George Eliot knows her characters are being jackasses.
Absolutely.
Whereas in these books, it's like they're presenting problematic behavior as admirable or at least forgivable when it's not.
Yeah.
That's when it gets hurled. So I will talk about the first 3. and get some feedback on which one I should. Well, anyway, or maybe I'll just get some feedback. Maybe I'll read the entire book today. Sometimes I do that as well, but I don't know how settled my mind is. I have to
short, so it's easy to do.
Well, usually, yeah, but if I'm having trouble concentrating, sometimes it's better. Okay, so we have Strictly Business, and the image on the cover gives lie to the title. Because I don't know what business they're practicing that Strictly Business, where the business is a remake of From Here to Eternity.
Okay. Interesting.
We'll find out. Strictly, okay, when is this? This is Candlelight Ecstasy. Oh, this is Candlelight Ecstasy Romance number 69. Nice. And it is 1982, July 1982. Strictly Business by Gloria Renwick. In one searing glance, merchant prince Chad Butler. He's a Chad.
I love the names. The names are
please let her name be Stacy. Please let her name be Stacy. Chad Butler took total inventory of his new employee. Oh, gross. Catherine Dunn, nuts. Catherine Dunn was shaken by their first encounter, determined to keep him and all other men at arm's length. I would have liked that better if it had been a complete sentence. Determined to keep him and all other men. Full stop. It's the world's largest reverse harem. She had been burned. She had been burned once and had vowed never again. But Chad commandeered her with embarrassing ease. He said it was business, which they put in scare quotes. He said it was business when he kidnapped her, swept her off to Casa del Cielo, his remote ranch in the mountains above Malibu. That's not that remote. I mean, I've been to Malibu. You can get out of there pretty easily.
A good friend of mine lives in Malibu, so it's not that remote.
Those mountains, I mean, if you want to get from the mountains to, like, civilization, it's like maybe a 2-hour walk. Probably pretty pleasant. I've done it. His insidious kisses were pleasure, pure and dangerous. You know what I like in a kiss? I like it to be insidious. If you can use
That's the same word choice.
If you can use the same word to describe the kiss that is used as the title of a horror movie, I am on board for that action. She had played straight into his arms, a slave to his will, torn between passion and a voice within that echoed, no.
I love it.
I have a feeling this is you're on thin ice. Okay, we have some people. Stormy's here. Hi, everyone, says Stormy. Watching a cheesy Bigfoot movie with my dad. It's very poorly made, but fun to make fun of. Yay! Bigfoot. Is it Cry of the Wilderness?
Paula, hi!
Oh, Paula's here. Yes, so she is. Hi, Paula. Hi, Sockalisha in chat. Just popping in to hug the like button. Ooh.
I haven't talked to Paula in so long. We always catch each other because we're in such different time zones.
I am symbolically hugging the like button.
I like that term. I'm going to steal that and give you credit, of course, Paula.
Yeah. I usually say that I'm popping in to make friends with the like button.
I like that one too.
Anita says, you are making me giggle all throughout trying to be serious looking for my stuff. Thank you. Well, if I can help ease the way there, maybe it takes a little longer, but it's a little more fun. And Anita says, hey, Stormy. And Stormy says, shriek of the Bigfoot. And then she has a laugh crying emoji for obvious reasons.
I'm going to have to send that to my stepdad. He's obsessed with Bigfoot, just for fun.
And Paula says, thanks, hon. There you go. So that is Strictly Business. I have a feeling that this one will end up flying across the room at some point, but we never know.
Yeah, it gives that vibe.
I got these in backward order. This is number 64, Sweet Healing Passion.
Yeah. The titles get me. I can't help it.
I am guessing that there is something very wrong with her chin. And there is something about his mouth that is going to heal that for her. Paula says, have you ever heard of the gay book Ass Watch? Is that Chuck
Is
Tingle?
that by Chuck Tingle? Please tell me that's by Chuck
like
Tingle.
Chuck Tingle. No, these would be called, banged in the, yeah, anyway.
Banged in the
It's got
butt?
the word bang as a verb in the title.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet Healing
Tingle.
Passion by Samantha Scott.
They make me giggle. The titles make me giggle of Chuck Tingle.
His steely gray eyes. I think, romance heroes of this era have a disproportionately high percentage of them have gray eyes.
Yeah.
And she says, no, it's Wit Slorp.
Never heard of that. I'll have to Google.
Alicia's going to look into this and report back. His steely gray eyes challenged her. His kisses claimed her. She longed to trust him, but did she dare? Amanda had come to North Carolina to work with her uncle's thoroughbred hunters to forget the cruel past, to begin again, but she hadn't counted on Dr. Mick Clayson, the handsome veterinarian. Was he still in love with his ex? Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry, my audio went in and out for a second.
Oh, okay. He's a handsome veterinarian. Can't you tell? There's a split rail fence and there's a horsey, way in the background. So, yeah. Could Amanda share him with his children? Well, you make enough mushroom gravy and he'll go far. Well, little cannibalism joke for you on a Wednesday afternoon. Loving him posed a risk and a danger. Was Matt's the healing touch she so desperately needed, or a treacherous passion that could break her heart open? Or a treacherous passion that could break her heart and open her wounds anew. Well, he's got a nice line on horse tranquilizers if it comes to that. Anita is laughing. She's like, I don't have my real ID yet, but at least I'm having a good time.
These titles are something.
This is great. Oh, I love this one. I love this one already. It's probably not what I'm thinking, but oh, if only it were. It is called The Metal Mistress by Barbara Cameron.
I actually like the photo on the cover.
It's not a photo. I mean, technically they're paintings.
Yeah.
Okay, but The Metal Mistress. It just threw devil horns. Poorly. Yeah, I'm hoping that she's that she's a roadie for AC/DC or something. Jacqueline
oh my
Taylor.
God, that book, Paula, the one you just mentioned, the cover is something else.
Okay. Everybody look it up.
I think it's set up to look like a Goosebumps cover. Because that's the vibe it's giving.
Goodness.
But like the typography on the top looks like Goosebumps.
Well, the first one that came up for me was actually Chill Pimples. So
yeah, that's book one, apparently.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that just caught me off guard.
Now, really just as I read this, substitute just imagine in your head that one of these two looks like Bigfoot.
Yes.
Jacqueline Taylor closed her eyes against the tears that threatened to fall. Who did Shane Jaeger think he was? The elusive actor race car driver guarded his own privacy with a will. With a Will Smith. Why had he insisted on invading hers? It didn't matter that his jaguar-like grace compelled her. Remember, this guy is Bigfoot, in my own imagination. Or that millions of women would give the world to be in his arms. Jacqueline couldn't have him. Her love for him was as dangerous as the cars he raced, and as certain to cause her pain. He gave his passion to a lightning speed racing card, a metal mistress. Oh, he's one of those. She would never give her heart only to a man who was entirely her. She would give her heart only to a man who was entirely hers, with no mistress to steal his love or his life.
Dun dun dun.
I would have liked it if he'd been secretly seeing Nancy Wilson on the sly. That was his metal mistress.
I could totally. Oh my God, I could totally see it.
Okay.
I grew up on Heart, so I love it.
Anita's like, that's funny. Hayton, this is by Hayton Monteith, which I think the copyright says copyright Hayton Monteith, but I think her actual name was Helen Mittermeier, and she wrote for Love Swept, and she actually wrote a few historicals as well. Love Swept was another contemporary category line. This is called To Love a Stranger. This is such an 80s outfit she's wearing, late 70s, early 80s.
And
Purple on a blonde.
That's coming back.
Purple on a blonde. Well, it's come back a couple of times. To Love a Stranger by Hayden Monteith. Movie director. More sordid Hollywood shenanigans. Movie director Quentin Wainwright. He was the Quentin Tarantino before Quentin Tarantino. Because this is only like 1982. Quentin Wainwright was everything Chara Styles despised in a man, sophisticated, world-weary, and harsh. And he claimed her as his wife with the air of a born conqueror. I mean, you can make all the claims you want. That doesn't make them true. You're my wife. Heck no. Oh dear. I didn't plan on you saying that. I do voices. It's fun.
I love it.
So far, there hasn't been any dialogue in the summaries because that's when I do the voices. Or when I'm quoting it back after I read them. She tried to resist, but his silver quartz eyes pierced her defenses. Again with the gray silver eyes. That's, statistically speaking, very unlikely. And a touch of blackmail sealed her fate. Ooh, he sounds like a real prince. Okay, back to the Harvey Weinstein story. She was a bartered bride who hungered for her hated husband's kisses, for the decadent luxury and forbidden delights she had never known before. He got her a box of Moncherie chocolates. I
love the alliteration. Her hated husband.
Her hated husband. How could she be so easily seduced? She could run across the world, find fame and success, but could she escape him? Had she lost her very heart and soul to the fires that threatened to consume them both? I'd like to imagine that the movies they're making are just like, Cry of Bigfoot or whatever.
Can I make a suggestion for content? You need to make book trailers for these, because that would be hilarious.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
That would be so much fun. With your voices and everything. I think that would be so much fun.
Voices and everything, but it would be acted out by the stuffed animals.
Yes! I'm totally in.
I do Raggedy Ann and Andy because I have a lot of Raggedy Ann and Andy pairs, except that I think I would run into copyright issues.
So do I. I've collected Raggedy Ann and Andy since I was little.
I got some cutie pies, but not within arm's reach. Next week. Are these Harlequin romances, asks Anita. Sort of. These are Candlelight Ecstasy. This one's called Impetuous Surrogate by Alice Morgan. Oh, I read Alice Morgan before. It was not great. This is Candlelight Ecstasy Romance, which was at this time is a division of Dell. And they started because they were more willing to go into a sexier direction than Harlequin was at the time. And also, Harlequin was only publishing Commonwealth writers, British, a few people from Australia, Canada, New Zealand. They actually had somebody who was Zimbabwean and a couple of South Africans and that kind of thing. But they weren't publishing American writers. So you had all of these talented American writers with manuscripts that they had tried to sell to Harlequin, and Harlequin was just like, yeah, we'd like these, except that we already have our American author. They had one American author, Janet Daly. One of the people who ran afoul of that was Nora Roberts, who would later be plagiarized by Janet Daly.
Really?
But that was in the future. Oh, that's a whole scandal. Look it up sometime.
Okay, I'm going to go into a deep dive tonight.
Anyway,
the amount of clapbacks that I've seen Nora Roberts do on the internet, make me so happy.
Excuse me?
The amount of, clapbacks that Nora Roberts does on the internet to, put people in their place make me so happy.
Well, imagine when somebody was actually straight up plagiarizing from her.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious.
Yes. I'm in, says Anita. Yeah, that's fun. I like this idea. I'll have to look into it. And Anita says, I think using the stuffed animals would be very entertaining. Well, right. I have here, anytime you have something that involves a boat,
Oh my goodness, they're so cute.
This is Captain Cliff, and this is Captain Isabel.
I love it.
Or they could be siblings finding love or something. I mean, with other people. You gotta be clear on that. Okay, Impetuous 30. So yeah, Anita, these are candlelight ecstasy romances, and that was like a new thing that Dell did. They put a woman called Vivian Stevens, who is she's still alive. She's in her 90s now, and she's an African American woman who like became fairly a powerful editor, and she left Candlelight Ecstasy because Harlequin decided to start Harlequin American Romances, and they basically made her such a generous offer that like she couldn't refuse it. But then there was a shakeup after Harlequin acquired Silhouette Romance from Simon and Schuster, and she found herself out of a job. So she pivoted to becoming an agent and book publisher, and she encouraged, even when she was still at Candlelight Ecstasy, a lot of non-white authors, and she kind of mentored as an editor to a writer, as an agent, book packager, Beverly Jenkins.
I love Beverly Jenkins. I love her so much.
And Anita says, adorable bears. And Anita says, when were they published? How do you find these books? Well, I got a whole bunch on one of those lots on eBay. I think they amounted to about 10 cents, 30 cents a book, something like that. So you can find them. The line started in 1981. And well, there was Candlelight Romances without the ecstasy part. And it was just kind of like their little throwaway category romance line. They had Regencies and Contemporaries and so on. And then Vivian Stevens was kind of like, why don't we try doing stuff that's a little sexier, a little more contemporary, deals with more contemporary issues? And they were like, sure, you bet, why not? We're not doing anything else with it. And she turned it into a success by actually, I know this is going to be a revolutionary research and marketing strategy, talking to women who read category romances.
Bingo.
Like she'd go to the Woolworth's lunch counter on her lunch break and talk to women she saw buying category romances and stuff like that. So yeah, so these are so it started in 1981. I think it continued into the 90s, but these are early. This is like number 67. These are from, I do have older ones, and there were I have some that are reprints and some that were just that old. This one's from 1982. I read another book by Morgan. It might have come after this. No, it was Masquerade of Love. I actually have a video about it. During this, well, I'll try to remember to put a link for it in the description during the sprint for the video where I talk about the Alice Morgan book. That was a video where I did a Candlelight Ecstasy romance. I think I did 2 Candlelight Ecstasy romances and Harlequin Presents. So it was for last year, 2025.
Okay,
I'll put a link in the
I'm
description.
gonna do some digging on your channel.
Well, I'll put a link in the. I'll try to put a link in the description so that people can find it more easily. So, because of her, Jill says, because of her plagiarizing, I haven't read Janet Daly since I found out, and that was a long time ago. Yeah, it was like, what went? Huh? Yeah, it was weird. It was all very weird. And Anita says, does Janet Daly? Okay. Does Janet Daly also write cozies? I don't think so. I think she wrote romantic suspense and historical and stuff like that, but I don't know that she ever dipped her toe into mysteries unless it was, again, I'll look into it during the sprints and get back to you. Because you don't want to go down a research rabbit hole when you're actually trying to get something done. By Alice Morgan. Yeah. Hoo. I think it.
I love those painted covers.
Look at all those pillows. So he's one of those people who has a million throw pillows, and you have to take them off the bed at night and put them back on the bed. It's a good workout, actually. Not going to lie about that. He was a Playboy tycoon, a sharp, ruthless womanizer who made it his business to hire a woman to bear his heir. Did they mean for that to rime? Because it just makes it sound even sillier than it is when they're trying to make it sound like a very serious thing. To hire a woman to bear his heir, so no one could tie him down for good. Well, the baby, if not the lady. Deanne Wagner didn't meet Derek Howell until she woke up in his bed with only a shaming memory of drunkenness and desire. Only a day before, she had been a woman of independent means and mind. How had she suddenly been reduced to Derek's plaything? GHBs, Georgia Homeboys, that's how. Hungering for his burning caresses, the kisses she couldn't forget. She had to escape to find satisfaction beyond this abyss of raging passion. Perhaps she could have it all and hope for more by secretly bearing his child. It's interesting because Masquerade of Love was also about like a weird getting a baby situation.
Yeah.
So
that's never been like my thing with Harlequin books. Like if it's a secret baby type thing, I'm like, nope, no.
why? Can you even see me at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird.
You're just periodically like freezing for like 5 seconds and then you come back.
Yeah, that's you're kind of doing that for me only because I am the boss lady of this situation. I see a black screen with a spinning circle and then you're back. So, and then I saw my screen was black with a spinning circle and I'm like, what happened here? This is not me. I am not, for once, the problem does not exist between keyboard and couch.
Let me see.
Anita says I might be thinking of someone else. Okay, well, it's 1 minute past the hour, and we've only had one 10-minute sprint. So I am going to read the first chapter of each of these 5 books during the next sprint, which will be 45 minutes, and I will do this looking up of things and providing a link, which I will put in the description. That will lead you to see what I said about the other Alice Morgan book that I read. So we are going, okay, it's like 1 minute past. We're going to go until 45 minutes past. So doing a little rounding there. Edit 45. Show. I edited you. Why are you not? I have to save that? That is BS. Okay. There we go. Oh, one more comment before we leave. Can't wait to hear how your chapter sampling goes. Emily's giving a little smile because she's looking forward to seeing if any of these books go sailing.
Get chucked.
Get the check out. Okay, here we go. See you in about 45.
Happy reading.
And we're back. I tried flipping the pages as a sort of alarm, but I don't know how loud it was. I'll have to watch it back later. I put the link in the description for my vlog where I read the other Alice Morgan book from last February. February 2025. Okay. So, how is your sprint?
Good. I got up to 42% into the book.
Nice, nice. This is the Alex Harrow book still?
Yeah, The Everlasting.
The Everlasting. Nice. Let's see. I will talk about the books that I looked at in a minute, but let's see. We have some comments just right after we went to sprint. I think we already talked to Emily said, can't wait to hear how your chapter sampling goes. I'll talk about that in just a minute or two. Molly's thoughts and musings stopped by to say, running by to hit the like button. Well, if you're still here, thank you for doing that. If you're watching it back later, thank you for doing that. If you're not watching it back later, still, thank you for doing that. The universe knows even if you don't. Let's see. Jill says, she left this comment just after the sprint started. She said, I had pre-ordered the rest of Ellie Alexander's The Novel Detective Agency series, #2, and delivered today. Nice. Got some book mail. Very cool.
Book
and
mail
Anita's
is the best mail.
Huh?
Book mail is the best mail.
Well, that and unexpected checks.
Yes.
Anita says, I have that to Jill. I have that book too. I can't wait to read it. Nice. Emily got to 56% of Life, a Love Story by Elizabeth Berg. And says, that's awesome, Jill. I'm excited for book 2. I'm guessing it was released yesterday if people are like... Okay, so I was going to read the first chapter. Oh, Maurice says, Jill, do you think you should read all the bookstore books before starting the offshoot? And then Jill says she has 48 pages left of Origin. Very nice. Stormy says, finished the movie. It was silly. Left Dad watching another Bigfoot one he doesn't think he has seen. Boxed a Pango order and started listening to A Devil's Claw. At first I thought that said Devil's Chaw. And I thought it was like, about chewing tobacco. That makes you see things that aren't there? Or are they? Maybe you chew the tobacco and you can see things that are there that nobody else can see.
Sounds like something.
But it's actually Devil's Claw. What?
It sounds like something Willy Wonka would have come up with.
It is Devil's Claw, not Devil's Chaw. I kind of want to read Devil's Chaw now, but anyway. Okay, so what happened was I was going to read the first chapter of these 5 books. I read the first chapter of Impetuous Surrogate. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think this is like a train wreck. I mean, they're all train wrecks, really. But this is just like, such a freaking train wreck.
A fun train wreck? Or no?
And Stormy says, listening to Devil's Claw, not listing. Jill says, yes, I would read the original series first. You heard it from Jill. She knows what's what. Okay, so I read the first chapter of this, and oh my goodness, it was a short chapter, too. It starts on page 9, because it's one of those where they count these pages when they assign the first page number. It starts on page 9, and it goes to page 23, and we've already had her, like, oh my gosh, there's been drunkenness, she's on a bad date with this guy, there's a lot of like pretty choice dialogue. I mean, my goodness, I was like, this is a train wreck and I might well be on board for it. And then I started, wait, not this one, yes, To Love a Stranger by Hayden Monteith. This is the one where she's trying to resist movie director Quentin Wainwright. You wanted to say Tarantino. This was before Quentin Tarantino was a thing. I mean, he existed on planet Earth, but not as a director. And I started reading it. The first chapter, I was like, oh, wow, I thought the other one was a train wreck. This is such a freaking train wreck that I just kept reading. I'm on page 90. Now, usually these books are like in the neighborhood. Oh, actually, I guess these are all longer. Usually these are around 190 pages or so. But these are going up to like slightly over 200. So, but not a whole lot over. At some point they did like Stages of Love was, how long was that? Like Stages of Love was only 187. These are like over 200. So I'm not quite halfway through. But oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Maury says, oh, thanks, Jill. Okay, thanks, Jill. I've only read the first, so it will be a while. Well, now you know what's what, so you can plan accordingly. Okay, first I'm going to talk about Impetuous Surrogate. This is the one about how she's going to become this guy wants a baby, but he doesn't want to have to deal with adult human women. He just wants a baby. So
That's not
she's
concerning.
Yeah. But this is that's really, really weird. We've got such misogyny in this book. I mean, aside from the premise. Okay, so we have our female main character is 26. Her name is Deanne. And she's on a date with this dude named Alan. And he's like he's coming onto her hardcore. He is not the male main character. He's coming onto her hardcore. They've kind of they've been drinking on this date. And so she's trying to reject him, and at one point she says, Alan Anderson, if you don't keep your hands off me and your unwelcome verbal advances from our conversation, I'll walk out on you this instant. And then like 20 minutes later, she's dancing with him and kind of like grabbing his hair and stuff. So whatever, man.
Okay.
But they have this conversation. About, they see this dude who is the male main character. And this is, Alan says, he's super rich, he's super handsome, and a ladies' man, and so on. Let's see. What is he? And Alan says, actually, I have always envied his success with women. His disdainful attitude seems to turn women on.
Ew.
And yeah, so where is the whole thing? He says of Alan says of the male main character Derek. Is that his name, Derek? Yeah, Derek. Whatever, man.
Excuse me, sorry.
He needs an heir, yet he absolutely refuses to give up his single status. He's contracted with Dad to find him a surrogate mother. Alan's dad is Derek's lawyer.
Okay.
So that's why, yeah. And she says, what?
I love the dialogue.
You heard me. Derek feels it's... Why do always people always respond to what with, you heard me? No, I didn't. That's why I'm asking what.
Why would we be asking what if we heard...
My dad used to do that. And I'd be like, Dad, I honestly did not hear you.
Yeah.
Derek feels it's necessary to beget an heir to continue the family name and inherit his fortune. Young, but sensible enough to fill his demands without becoming maudlin or emotional over her child. If he finds a compatible female willing to bear his child, he'll pay all expenses and give her a sum of $30,000. That's over $3,000 a month. It'll be a planting through artificial insemination yet. And she says, that's immoral, illegal anyway. And then they get into this whole thing about whether or not it's legal. But,
Jeez.
Well, anyway, so she's like, someone should teach him a lesson. That monster selling your own baby. And it's like, oh my God, is she going to get into it just to teach him a lesson? Oh.
And then they're going to fall in love and have the baby.
She says, huh?
Then they're going to fall in love and have the baby for real.
It's a dark romance that doesn't know it's a dark romance.
Yeah.
And she says, imagine thinking that a woman would be willing to hand over her child like so much trash. Keep in mind that this isn't just a surrogacy. You know, the woman, that baby would be half her genetic material as well as her kid to term. So it's not just like she's carrying somebody completely biologically not related to the child she's carrying. And he says, don't be so naive, Deanne. This procedure is not as uncommon as you might think nowadays. I mean, this was shortly after the first in vitro fertilization. And this, you know, just a few years Okay. And artificial insemination of humans had been around for a while, too. Not every woman has a strong maternal streak, but I have yet to meet one who wouldn't enjoy earning a small fortune for 9 months' effort. And here it is. Motherhood has become something most women indulge in for all the wrong reasons. It's used to hook a single man that's careless, keep a faltering marriage together, or please frustrated relatives that want to be grandparents. Look around you. How many of your friends take care of their own children or even seem to like the brats overmuch? Get that man a show on One American News Network. Okay, what was it?
What year was this?
Huh?
What year was this?
Oh, I said get that man a show on One American News Network.
Exactly.
And then, deep in thought, Deanne was forced to admit that there was some truth to Alan's statements. No, there isn't. Not then, not now. Most of her friends didn't seem to want to bother with caring for their children and complained constantly about the problems they caused. Okay.
Wow.
And then she comes up with, like, oh, well, my mother and my secretary are both devoted to their children. And those are the only examples she can think of. Anyway, I'm like,
that's interesting.
This is so over the top and unrealistic, even by romance standards. Like this idea that somehow women are just having babies for reasons of not wanting babies, but other things instead, and then just ignoring. I'm like, when was that ever true?
No.
This honestly sounds like some kind of incel rant.
That's where I was going. I'm like, this sounds like the red pill stuff you see on podcasts.
No, that's why I said get this man his own show. I mean, yeah, get him a podcast. So I don't know. I might stick with it just because
it's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. And then this is the one, To Love a Stranger by Hayden Monteith, that I started and just kept reading because it was also ridiculous in a slightly different way. Going back to the comments, they are all good, says Jill. She is talking about the Ellie Alexander books. She is not talking about this pile of nonsense.
Hey, half of reading is having a good time with it.
One way or another.
Yeah, exactly.
And Maurice says, what if he gets a daughter? Sheesh. I think that he is absolutely convinced that he can't have anything other than a son, probably because he is just such a manly man.
Sounds like the type.
Yeah. If he has a daughter, he will probably ask. Okay, so the woman gets pregnant with his child. She has the baby. It's a daughter. He probably will ask for his money back and a convenience fee. Because it couldn't possibly be anything to do with him that she had a daughter rather than a son.
Oh my goodness. Men that think it's just they have nothing to do with the gender when it's come out that men.
It is. It actually is. It absolutely is. The men. Stormy asked the salient question. I had stepped out of the room for a few minutes. Did any go flying across the room? They have crossed the line from offensive to hilarious. They're so offensive that it's just like they're so offensive that I can't get offended by them. That's how bad they are. Or good. Okay, this is To Love a Stranger by Hayden Monteith. This is the one where I actually didn't get around to reading the first chapter of the other 3 books because I was just like, oh, what is going on? I am engrossed already. This is the one where with movie director Quentin Wainwright Tarantino, and the lady Chera. Chera's mom is an actor, a famous actress. She has 2 kids, Chera and her brother Kenny. And Kenny wants to work for Quentin Wainwright. So they meet when they're having like a family get together, and Quentin's there because Kenny wants a job with him. And so he gives him a job, and then he's like totally entranced by Chera. Chera is a paralegal. She just like works for the county of Los Angeles. She didn't want to have anything to do with showbiz. And so he starts hitting on her big time, and she is not interested. He calls her for several weeks after, and she's like, no, I don't want to go on a date. I don't want to go on a date. I don't want to go on a date. Kenny, the brother, calls and says, oh, I kind of sort of borrowed some money from petty cash on the film production company. Because I got into some gambling debt problems, and they found out, and now they're threatening to send me to prison. Turns out he stole $10,000 in 1980. That's not chump change. Not even in 1983 was that chump. I mean, especially in 1983, that was not chump change.
Exactly.
I mean, that gets over into felony territory easily. And so she's like, oh no, you're going to go to jail? But you're such a fine, upstanding young man. And Quentin shows up and is like, oh, I'm going to send your brother to jail unless you become mine.
Oh, God.
And she's like, oh, well, okay. And he's like, okay, well, we're going away for a couple of days. We're going to Las Vegas. And she's like, but my job. And he's like, you figure it out. So they go to Las Vegas, where he's like really weird. I mean, the whole thing is really stupid and weird. And I mean, and then like she like deliberately gets liquored up because she finds it's easier to get along with him if she's liquored up. And he's like, okay, well, we'll get you some more champagne up in the room. So they do the deed, and he realizes that she's never done this before. So of course he drags her off to get married because reasons. Then they go to New York. They spend a couple of days in New York City, and they actually get along, and they're having a good time and everything. And then they're going up to his place upstate, and the Finger Lakes, which, based on the description of how he goes about things, they are not aptly named. Anyway, so they go up to his estate above the on the Finger Lakes, and he starts acting like this weirdo, jealous guy, and he's just like being really weird. And at no point does it occur to her to wonder why he wanted to marry her.
That would be my first question.
Yeah, she's just like going along with it, like, oh yes, this makes perfect sense. And it's like at one point he gets her, he buys, when they're in New York, he buys her a dress and she puts it on, and he says, she's 26, but she looks a lot younger. And he's like, oh yes, you look like Cinderella when she was 18. Never wear anything else. Yes, I know.
Ew.
You. And I'm just like, what is going on? Why did he want to marry her? Why isn't she asking any questions other than to be? At one point, she's like, she gets into an argument with him. They get into a lot of arguments because he blows hot and cold. He's really a jackwagon. And she stops off, and then she's like, why do I always get into an argument with him? And it's like, because he's a jerk. That's why.
He's many things.
Stormy is just laughing. Stormy, she's like, I'm surprised she wanted to know whether or not I threw a book across the room because, as a collector and dealer, because she was getting a Pango order ready and everything, she gets a little alarmed when they go flying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I send her the rejects, and she's like, I'll send her the rejects, awesome. And she'll be like, because I think the covers are pretty, and it's like, oh no, you want to read about these jerks.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing,
I don't like how it's always the female character's first time. Always.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, come on.
Well, anyway, the thing is though, as a collector and dealer, when they go flying across the room, she's like, except now she wants to know whether or not she missed it.
No, you didn't.
Stormy says it does hurt my heart a bit, LOL. No, but she's like, the covers are pretty, so I sent them to her, and one of them was one that had gone flying, and it had a big old crease on the cover, and I was like, don't worry, that crease was already there. That was not because I flew it. It was, and she's like, sure it was. But yeah, I'm like, oh, this book is terrible. Hey, Stormy, you want to read it? Or do you want a copy? She's like, sure. And I just send them off.
Sometimes
so you can imagine the next time you see, whenever you see me toss a book, just imagine that it's landing at Stormy's house. Stormy says, yeah, you got me. I don't mind reading about the jerks, LOL. Sometimes I will DNF one, but rarely. Well, the other thing is, I am a lifelong single person. Never got married, never wanted to. And reading this, I'm like, it just kind of reinforces that, yes, I made some good decisions in my life. I mean, not all men, hashtag, but Maury says, that's why I like a good widow or ruin story in historical fiction. So over all the innocent maidens.
See, that's my thing. Like, I'm just like tired of that. Like, I'm fine if like the person isn't experienced or whatever, but like, why does it always have to be the person's first time?
So I like it when, maybe they haven't they're inexperienced, they never met the right person, or they're, the social constraints, particularly in historicals. But it's like they're not completely naive.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what bugs me more than like them not knowing anything. It's like the whole like they're willfully naive.
Yeah.
They need to stay that way, and that bothers me.
Yeah. But in this case, I mean, the naivete, I mean, she actually does make a point of saying, because she uses what he calls vulgar language, and I can't remember what she said, but it really was not that bad.
Like damn it or something, or
yeah. And he's like, he's very big on telling her he doesn't like it when she does this, that, or the other thing. And he's like, he seems to think that because she's a paralegal that she's like entombed herself with legal tomes and protect. And she's like, I work for the county of Los Angeles. We had this chick who got in trouble at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. No, I mean, not literally, but it's like, she's like, these are active criminal cases, and there's bad behavior and there's bad language. And, I'm not a sheltered maiden here just because I've never done it. Okay. That's why these stories couldn't make it today, says Anita. Well, if they're framed as dark romance, they do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is the framing. He should go flying across the room, says Maureen. Oh, he may well. But I'm like, is it ever... It's just like these things keep happening, and she doesn't... The questions she's asking herself... Yeah. I have so many questions. And she doesn't... When even her internal monologue is like, why do I keep flying off the handle with him? Why can't I keep my cool? And I mean, I think because... Well, yeah, but I think because of the book, you're supposed to think, oh, it's because you love him and you want to kiss him. And you want to find out how babies are made. But in my mind, the question she should be asking is, why did he even want to marry? She seems to think that this is all like...
She's thinking of like Cinderella fairy tale, like
except she's not even thinking that. We're not given any insight as to what she thinks about like getting married like this.
Yeah.
The insight we're getting is very micro. I have questions about the macro.
I can just say in 2026, if I ran off and got married, my parents would still be mad at me. They'd be like, no, we at least want to be there.
Like I said, her questions are very granular. Yeah. Why this particular interaction, not why this whole situation in the first place.
Yeah.
She's taking it with remarkable aplomb. And I'm
like a lot of romances I can't, like the darker romances I can't read. Nothing about the like content that doesn't bother me, but like there was only one book that I've thrown across the room, and it was a disability romance where her nickname was a defamatory term towards people with disabilities.
Well, that's not good.
And needless to say, I was very, very angry. As someone who has a disability, I was like, no.
In this book, after the whole discussion of surrogates or what... No, actually, I don't know. One of these books, they use the W word for sex worker.
Oh, geez.
And in the sense of her saying, that's not what I'm like.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, I can't remember which book it was in. But anyway, so it's almost 10 minutes past the hour. So another 45-minute sprint until 5 minutes to the hour.
Sounds good.
Okay. Because I do want to actually, people want to do stuff. And I could talk about this all afternoon, but I'm not going to, at least not this afternoon.
We could do a TED Talk on it.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. Well, we got to do our TED Talk on Middlemarch first.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Banners. Oh, and I looked it up, and it doesn't look like Janet Daly ever wrote Cozy Mysteries. So, but unless I'm missing something.
I know there's a Vivian Daly who does a lot of Cozy Mysteries.
Maybe that was it. Okay, well, we'll see you back in 45 minutes.
Happy reading.
Happy reading. And we're back. Oh, yeah. How you doing?
Good. I made it past 50%. I made 2 phone calls in that.
Ooh, you snuck in a little bit of extra yuck, unless they were fun phone calls. Okay. Let's see. I think Maury had already said he should go flying across the room. He didn't, although at one point they go flying across the Atlantic, but not in the, yeah. Anita says it was probably someone else I was thinking of. Yeah, because of Janet Daly and whether or not she wrote cozies. Annie. Hi, everyone. Still reading Coming Home by Rosamund Pilcher. Nice, and looks like I will finish part 1 for my book club next week. It's been ages since I've read any Rosamund Pilcher. I think I read Coming Home. I really liked the Shell Seekers, about the painting and the painters. That was fun. I like that.
I don't think I've read anything by Rosamund Pilcher.
Pilcher?
Yeah,
Pilcher, not pincher. She steals rather than pinching.
Okay.
Pilcher. Anyway, no, she doesn't. I'm at 96%. She does not. Anita says, I'm at 96% in Enola Holmes and The Clanging Coffin by Nancy Springer. And she says, I will finish it by tonight. Well, we'll get you a celebratory stuffed animal to wave at you for finishing, in anticipation that you will finish. Unfortunately, you guys have all already seen the ones that I have within arm's reach. So we will have a reprise of, actually, no. Lady Giraffe Friend will wave at you. Yay, Anita! Yay for finishing!
I love the giraffe.
She's so soft and soothing. And Stormy says she finished her chapters for A Devil's Claw by J.A. Jance and made a video. Woo! Wow, that's a lot. Nice.
How many books are in that J.A. Jance series that you're reading, Storm? Because I know you've been reading them for a while.
Yes. So much. Maury says, I am part of that read along too, Annie. I am looking forward to finishing it next month. Nice. People making connections. 13 pages left of Origin, says Jill. Well, you'll finish it tonight. So, okay. We haven't seen this one this afternoon. Monique is giving you the happy for finishing in advance wave. Monique is a Triceratops.
My brother would want to steal that. He's obsessed. He's young and he's obsessed with dinosaurs.
He may not have my dinosaurs.
He's a dinosaur kid.
He could get his own. That's cute, says Anita. Actually, Monique made her debut on the channel about a year ago during Midweek Motivation because she came in the mail and I opened her on camera.
I love it.
Her name is Monique Lapointe because that is one way to express the concept of spit in French, like her little space.
Oh, I didn't know that. Today I learned.
Got to 75%, says Emily. Nice. Okay, so now it is time for my I speed ran to this book. I finished this book. This is To Love a Stranger by Hayden Monteith. And it just kept happening that they would have these arguments where he'd be like really jealous and irrational and hostile toward her. He called her little B word, only he said the actual word, about 6 times during the book. And at one point, she's like, I understand that you hate me. And he's like, you don't understand anything. And he stomps off. And it's like, yeah, because you don't tell her anything.
Oh, the tortured artist bit?
What?
The tortured artist bit?
I don't know. Remember how she was not asking any questions about, like, the whole getting married on the fly thing?
She's way too trusting.
Huh?
She's way too trusting. That's for sure.
Well, at one point, his jealousy, he gets jealous of everybody, including his own teenage nephew.
Ew.
And that's when she's like, stop it. Why do you hate me? And he's like, and then finally he confesses, I don't hate you. I love you. And you're like, no? And then, like, they have a brief conversation, and then an ending is there, which is presented as happy. Well, and anyway, at one point she's thinking, well, she understood that she just kind of, she does articulate that she seems to take it for granted that, oh, he had sex with her, realized she'd never had sex before, at least not full-on penetrative sex like that. And so he had to marry her, and he resents her for that. So she just seems to take it for granted that that's why he wanted to marry her.
Oh, geez.
And it's like, at no point do we actually have a conversation about this or anything. Well, shortly after that, after I broke off last time, it finally comes to a head, and she overhears him talking on the phone with her mother. Her mother's actually a famous glamorous writer, not a famous glamorous actor, and he's done a couple of adaptations of her mother's work. She overhears a conversation that he's having with somebody else, and she thinks that he's been having an affair with her mother before he married her. Which, of course, is just like a stupid misunderstanding that could have been cleared up with like 3 minutes of conversation. But she decides she's like, well, on the one hand, that would have been some communication would have been good. On the other, it spurs her to actually leave him. So I'm pro anything that has her leaving this jackwagon.
Yeah.
So she leaves. She goes to London where she has friends. Now, remember, she was a trained paralegal and had a successful paralegal job. She quit when she got married, but her boss made it clear that they always need paralegals. And if she ever wanted to come back, he would have a job for her. Instead, she goes to London and then just kind of becomes a supermodel. And it's again, my frustration is that we have the same argument between the two of them over and over again, like 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of the same argument over and over again. She becomes a supermodel in like a page.
That's more interesting.
It's like, that's supermodel. That would have been interesting. You could have like cut out some of those, because I mean, remember, this is longer than most category romances, and Candlelight did go back to the shorter format. You could have used those extra 20, 30 pages instead of having the same argument, lather, rinse, repeat. You could have, explored her interior life, how she felt about the marriage, not how she felt about individual conflicts within the marriage. Or you could have described how she just suddenly, why she didn't go back to being a paralegal, why she decided she had to be a model. Anyway,
that's the part I have questions about.
So she works the company that
the paralegal to like.
Yes, exactly.
I want to know.
Yes.
I want to know.
Yes. What? I don't know. That I would have been interested in. That's, like I said, it's so frustrating because we have all of this micro examination and then the big stuff just kind of let it slide. And she ends up getting a big contract as a model, and it turns out she doesn't realize this because, I mean, I kind of understand this because they didn't have the internet and people just kind of did whatever and didn't necessarily do research. But she only finds out after she's been working for this company they've launched a campaign with her. Only then does she find out that the cosmetics company is a subsidiary of Wainwright Hugeco or whatever his family's company. And actually, even though he's a director, he also has a hand in running the company. Although that's not why she got the contract. She got the contract on her own merit. And I mean, I'm sure he probably saw that she got this contract. He didn't say anything about it or stop her from getting it. So I think it was not that he arranged it or anything like that. I think it was just, she got it and it's like, oh, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, he comes from money. We've known this about him. He went to Harvard. And then we have a couple of really, really choice sentences. They're at a party they're back in New York, and they're at a party, and she meets some of his his roommate from Harvard. And the former roommate, Brad, says to Brad, Chad, whatever, says to Quentin, he actually says, listen to this. Phew, old man, I haven't seen you like this since we lost in rowing to the Yaleys, but then you were roaring drunk. It's like, well, of course you lost in rowing to the Yaleys because you guys are crimson losers. I maybe went to Yale at one point. And then it's like, they're talking about football. Now, keep in mind that they were married for a few weeks and then they kind of separated. They're still officially married. Yeah. And so they did have conversations and stuff, but some stuff didn't come up. And Chera, that's the female main character's name, Quint played football. And Somebody says, Chara, are you joking? Quint was a super quarterback. He quarterbacked for Harvard for the Crimson. Again, Crimson losers. But super quarterback for Harvard? That's, let's just say, being the best at Harvard at American style football. Yeah, that's not being a super quarterback. And I'd say that even if it were old Eli and not Yale. So, yeah. Remember, Yale is first in gentlemanly club life. That's a quote from The Simpsons that I always enjoyed. Although I enjoyed it more after I went to Harvard, after I went to Yale. Because when that first came out, I had no idea I would ever actually get a degree from there. Stormy says, we are reading all of her series, and she has 4 series, and they are pretty long, 20-plus books, and only one has 6 books. Not our favorite. And one only has 6 books. Not our favorite series either, LOL. Apparently not hers either. She's like, yeah, no. Cute, says Jill. My dinosaurs, for the most part, not all of them, but most of them do have French names for whatever reason.
I love it.
And Stormy is laughing about something. Annie got to 44%. Nice. And Annie says to Maury, I'm really enjoying it. Hope you are too. Have you ever, Alicia, have you ever read any Maeve Binchy?
I read Circle of Friends in college.
Okay, because Maeve Binchy and Rosamund Pilcher are not too dissimilar.
Okay, I enjoy Maeve Binchy. I'm curious to check her out.
I mean, they're not the same by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, they kind of write on similar themes, a similar style, it's just kind of like a nice, I mean, there are conflicts within the story, but it's a nice, gentle read in terms of, nobody's going to be using bad language, nobody's going to be essayed, Okay, so I'm
definitely going to check her out for sure.
Yeah. You'd probably enjoy her
But I know this is bad, but I saw the movie first. I didn't know Circle of Friends was a book until after.
Yeah. Okay, so I speed ran the end of this just to see what happened, and it was like, okay, again, like I said, it's so frustrating that we get these granular details about every single argument, and then they just sort of like, oh yes, they got married, and oh yes, she became a supermodel. Well, not necessarily a well, she was on her way.
That's the more interesting part.
That was all very frustrating. And then let me see, I actually had enough time to get into more of Impetuous Surrogate. Maury says, I found a Maeve Binchy in a free little library recently. I need to go see which one. Which free little library or which Maeve Binchy? I think she means
it could be for both.
Okay, so Impetuous Surrogate, I actually got about halfway through this one as well. And this is the one where he wants a baby, but he doesn't want to have to interact with a human woman. He doesn't want to have to get married. He doesn't want to co-parent. He's just, I think he would prefer that the baby just sprung fully formed from the thigh of Zeus or something.
Like a stork dropped a baby off.
Whitethorn Woods. I haven't read that one. I read by Maeve Binchy. I read Light a Penny Candle, and I read some others by her, but I don't think I read Whitethorn Woods. Maybe I did.
I wish
it was a while ago
on audio. Like none of Maeve Binchy's work is on audio, and I don't get why.
Oh, that's interesting, because back in the 90s, when it was literally books on tape, not just
I grew up listening to books on tape through my library.
Yeah. I used to listen to books on tape while I worked, because I had a boring data entry job, so it was like it would make the shift go a little faster
to get it done.
Huh?
You didn't really have to think to just do it. It was kind of just, you kind of just did your job.
Yeah. Although it was funny because we had a dentist, because I worked for a dental insurance company. We had a dentist in the system who was Dr. Toothaker. Nice. And it was also because this was during the 1992 Winter Olympics when Christy Yamaguchi was competing. She ended up winning gold. And they had us doing a lot of overtime. We were just slammed at that time. And so a lot of people had little TVs. You couldn't watch TV while you did the job. It just wasn't possible. But people would like put the screen part of the TV in their desks or cover it up with paper or something and just listen.
Yeah.
So we'd be listening to the Olympics, to the commentators talking about like Christy Yamaguchi or whatever. And, you know, and like sometimes for some of the routines, we'd actually pull the screen back and look. And because we were working overtime on a Saturday, our shift supervisors were letting it slide if we just stopped to watch like a routine and then covered it up. I mean, they were giving us pizza and stuff, so it was pretty loose. But it was funny because Dr. Yamaguchi, her dad, was a dentist. I worked for Delta Dental Plan of California. Dr. Yamaguchi, I think he's retired now, but he was a dentist in Fremont, California. And so during those Olympics, I don't think it was ever while she was actually skating, but we were processing claims from his office.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh, it's Dr. Yamaguchi. Yeah, that's Christy's dad. And everybody like, yeah, right. No, seriously, dude. She's from Fremont. He's a dentist in Fremont. This is her dad. Okay, so I read the first half of this book. Now, this is the one where, he wants the baby just like to appear. Or at least that's the rumor. That's what she's heard around town. And that he doesn't want to get married. And she was with her dud of a date. And what happens is she and her dud of the date leave the club. And her dud of a date, she's pretty drunk because she's not used to drinking. She normally doesn't. And her date's pretty three sheets to the wind. So Derek, the male main character, chases them in his car. Manages to get the guy to pull over, pours the guy into a cab, just tells him, I don't care if you kill yourself, but you might kill other people, including your lovely date. So, you can get your car in the morning. And then he goes to get her out of the car and she is passed out. So he takes her to his house because he doesn't know where she lives or anything. And she wakes up the next morning and she's like, not wearing her clothes and she's in this bed. And he's like, oh yes, we slept together. And she says, I don't think so. I'm a virgin. She too has never had sex with a dude. And he's like, oh, that's what they all say, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, yeah, I think if you are saying that she's lying when she says she's a virgin, like, then you didn't sleep with her, because by the logic of romance novels, you can always tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm also inclined to believe that she's a virgin, because I think if she'd had sex for the first time, or even for the first time in a long time, she would feel it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, so she's like, but anyway, she was literally blackout drunk. I'm pretty sure that he did not.
It seems like 50 Shades of Grey before 50 Shades of Grey.
Not really. I think he's just messing with her for whatever reason. So they have like a little misunderstanding about that, but he starts coming around to her office and talking to her, and they start going out on dates, and it's all fine. They're having a good time. It's lovely. What I'm guessing, so far so good. They haven't actually done the deed. I'm guessing that they actually do the deed. She gets pregnant and she remembers all of the rumors she's heard about him not wanting to get married and so on. Right. And I'm guessing that's where the secret baby aspect comes into it. She doesn't want to give up her baby. We've already established that she thinks it's weird that anybody would expect somebody to give up their baby. So I think that's probably what it's shaping up. But right now we're just having a fun bantery relationship that's actually not too toxic at this point. What's fun though is this book, oh there it is, To Love a Stranger, had a lot of loving descriptions of clothing, and this one has some descriptions of clothing, but a lot of loving descriptions of food.
Food description is my favorite.
They're in San Francisco, and they like end up going to a French cafe or a French restaurant, and there's this like descriptions of like the French food that they have. And then they go to a Chinese place, to like his favorite hole-in-the-wall Chinese place. And there's a loving description of the Chinese. It's like gourmet Chinese. It's not just like lo mein or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they go to an Italian place. And again, it's higher end, or not necessarily higher end, but it's more authentic. So there's like loving descriptions of Italian food. I am into it. Yeah. This is the same one.
Italian food is always the go.
Yeah. So, well, I think one time I was saying I had puttanesca for dinner, and you were like, "Oh, that makes my Italian heart happy."
Yes, that's one of my favorites.
Yes, it's so good. Anyway, so Alice Morgan, again, I put the link in the description for the reading vlog I did that included one of her other books. I don't necessarily want to give spoilers because you could go on that voyage of discovery with me in the past. But
Yeah.
that one
I'm definitely
involved
planning on watching it tonight, for sure.
Okay, well, I'll just say that that book involved a one night stand with a lady who was deliberately trying to get pregnant in a one night
geez.
stand. So we're talking like basically a form of reproductive theft almost, or well, for sure, I don't know how to call it. It's like sort of essay almost, not violent essay, but she's,
It still counts.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that one had some descriptions of food and this just choice description of a restaurant and some other stuff that was fun that you'll see if you end up watching the video. This one also, that one they were in Palm Springs and there was like a tourist info dump about Palm Springs. This one has a tourist info dump about San Francisco Bay. Like he actually literally tells her how long the bridge is and how much coastline the bay has. He is actually in construction. He's a construction and engineer.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
She's like, how do you know this? And he's like, well, I'm in construction. So, So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen with this book. So I actually got a lot read today.
Nice.
Yeah, during this. Maury says, I remember the Olympics. She was so good. Yeah, Christy Yamaguchi was really good.
And I was 2. I was 2. So I have only seen replays, but I've watched her a lot as a kid.
Well, I haven't watched figure skating a long time, but I did see Alyssa Liu, and for this Olympics, and the joy, just the absolute joy of movement she has is just such. I mean, not to say that the other skaters weren't good or anything like that, but she just looks like she's having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
The others you're seeing,
I always watch it for some reason during the Olympics. That and gymnastics is always my go-to.
Yeah, because you have these athletes. These are peak athletes who've trained their whole lives for this, and they're performing at this like incredible level. And a lot of them are concentrated on that, which makes sense. They should be. Yeah. But there's something about just the way, because I mean, I guess she quit and then came back when she rediscovered the joy. And it just comes across in her skating. It's so beautiful to watch. Dorothy Hamill was my hero when I was a kid, says Maury. Did you have the Hamill haircut? I had the Hamill haircut.
I found an old picture of my mom with the Hamill haircut. I was like, that's awesome.
I had the Hamill haircut. And then it was around the time when my hair texture finalized. It actually finalized as there's a fair amount of it, but it's very lightweight. So I can't really have the Hamill haircut anymore or pixie or anything like that because it just makes me look like a mushroom head because it just kind of floofs out. So if it's too short, it looks really weird.
It looks odd. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, it was fine. But not anymore. Yeah, the Hamill cut. Yes, says Maury. Mainly due to always getting pitch in my hair, LOL. Were you climbing trees? It's very practical for the tree climber in you. Anyway, so it's actually kind of, we've been at it for over 3 hours now. And we spent like half of that time sprinting. That's how it goes. That's how it goes around here. So I think I'm going to call it an evening, and I will be back here next Wednesday for more midweek motivation at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I think you and I need to kind of confab off camera about how we want to do the Middlemarch thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like I said, we to the audience, we were talking about maybe doing it as a live stream because we have thoughts that are not easily expressed in DMs.
Exactly.
Precisely so. Well, it's been absolutely delightful having you here, and I appreciate your willingness to be here and being backstage last week, and it didn't work out, but I'm glad you were willing to come back. Jill had the Hamill haircut as well. And Maury says, thanks for the hangout. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Or if you're watching it back later, I appreciate you're doing that as well. You don't have to be here in person. All are welcome. Have a great night. Stay safe. Be safe. Stay cozy. Everyone says Anita. Thank you so much. Yeah. So anyway, but for now, I am just going to say next week will be midweek motivation, 2 p.m. Eastern. And I hope to see I hope to see people. Okay,
I'll be
thank you
here.
so much. Everybody have, one more comment. Jill says, thanks for the sprints. Have a good night. Thank you for being here, Jill.
Have a good
Appreciate it.
night.
Okay, so I hope everybody has a good night, and I will see you again next week, if not in somebody else's live streams, where I'm usually in comments rather than on camera.
Yeah.
Okay.